Hello, today we are going to be talking about self-care because it is a term that gets widely misused. Whenever somebody is indulging in something like they're going to the spa or they're having a glass of wine, they might say it's for my self-care. Is it? Maybe, maybe not, and here's why. Self-care is about taking a step back from yourself, almost like you're an observer to yourself and looking in at every component that makes up you, the physical, mental, spiritual, emotional you, and saying, am I taking good care of the self? Almost like self is a person outside of yourself. Saying, and how can I make it better? So just like, well, actually, let me back up. Even if we don't do it, we know how we ought to take good care of the physical us. But the part of us that I want to focus on today is the mental and emotional part of you. So if somebody wants to take care of their finances, it requires them to be very realistic about what's coming in and what's going out, in setting a budget, setting limits. In the same way, if you want to care about you, the mental and emotional you need to be aware of what's coming in and what's going out. So how you're replenishing yourself and how you're giving yourself, and setting up a budget, being realistic about your limits. So you have to take stock of who you are and what you have. And so part of this is going to be, it's tied into the spiritual you of spending time connecting with the divine so that you are realistic of what you are and what you're not. You are a human who's finite. You are not God. And like compassion is different than sympathy or empathy. It's like sympathy is going, wow, that must feel so bad. Empathy is going, wow, I feel what you feel and it's really bad. Compassion looks in and goes, okay, this is bad. How can I fix it? It's active. There is a cost to being compassionate. So if we're doing this, though, we have to be wise about it because we're not God. And that means that because we can't control the actions of other people, there will be situations where we absolutely cannot do anything to help alleviate the distress. So if we are trying, though, and we keep trying and trying, we are taking all of our resources and we're dumping them into a situation that we can't make any better. So what we need to do instead is look at our budget of mental dollars, we'll call them, and say, I have this much to give. And if that's not enough, then it's going to have to come from somewhere else, because I am only a human, and I honor my humanness. I honor my limitations enough to not destroy myself trying to do something that I can't do. Now, is that extra glass of wine while you're having a bubble bath part of self-care? Possibly, but only to a degree. There are times when we have to cocoon from the world, especially like if the outpouring of our mental and emotional outpouring is a lot, when, seasons of life that are really strenuous, then we have to make sure that we are taking in more than what's going out. So for one thing, we have to say no to a whole bunch of other things that might be calling for our attention, and we have to maybe cocoon. The one thing that is not part of self-care is trying to live in a world where you never experience any bad feelings. For one thing, there's no such thing as a bad feeling. There's only feelings that feel bad, but we can learn from those feelings. And if you think of your feelings not as signals, and we're like, okay, so what is this signal trying to tell me? Then we can learn from it, we can grow from it. But if we're forever trying to get away from bad feelings that feel bad, then we'll become afraid of the world. And you could even end up with an anxiety issue, because then it will take less and less to trigger that, and you're forever trying to get away from it. So instead, we're going to go, okay, what do I need to take care of every aspect of me? And how do I budget properly? So I hope that you'll do that today, because yourself is worth taking care of. Have a great day. I hope you're smiling.